My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, the parable which our blessed Lord tells us in today's Gospel invites us to be patient and to trust in God's final victory over the enemy. The parable portrays a reality in which there is good and bad. We know that is how the world is. Many times we become sad by looking at the bad things happening in the world. But Jesus calls us today to see the good things which are happening in the world too, where God is at work bringing growth and life. In the Gospel passage, we find an interesting thing. The parable is proclaimed openly to the multitude, but the explanation is given only to his apostles. It is to remind us that only in the individual heart that the meaning of Jesus' words come to life. In the parable, weeds and wheat all grow together, and at the harvest they are separated. In each of us, strengths and weaknesses of personality exist together, and also our goodness and our faults. God sees us all and looks on the total field. All are growing together, and too much emphasis on faults means we may forget our goodness. The good seed is sown in the world as it is. There is no need to wait until things get better, but as individual person, I need to do whatever good I can do right now. Dear friends, like a seed growing towards the light, we are to allow ourselves to dwell in the presence of God who loves us. We are to still the voices that are not for our growth, but we are only to respond to the word that God speaks to us. Jesus assures us that good will have the final word. Though we seem to be heading in the opposite direction, there is so much good in the people's hearts, so much generosity that goes unnoticed. We need to ask ourselves, am I an optimist, or do I only see what is wrong in life around me? One needs to grow in one's ability to see the world through God's eyes in deep gratitude. Where there is life, there is always hope of redemption and of the triumph of good over evil. The ultimate victory of goodness and love, truth and justice will be accomplished by the Son of Man at the harvest, at the end of the age. Today, let us ask the Lord to take possession of our field, that is our heart and our life, so that the evil one may not have any power over us. Ask the Lord to shine His light upon us, so that we may shine out in the world, just like the righteous who shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Dear friends, today we celebrate the feast of Saints Joachim and Anne, parents of Virgin Mary. The couple's faith and perseverance brought them through the sorrow of childlessness to the joy of conceiving and raising the immaculate and sinless woman who could give birth to Christ. The New Testament contains no specific information about the lives of the Virgin Mary's parents, but other documents outside of the biblical canon do provide some details. The Proto-Evangelium of James describes Mary's father Joachim as a wealthy member of one of the 12 tribes of Israel. Joachim was deeply grieved along with his wife Anne by their childlessness. He called to mind Abraham, whom in the last days God gave a son Isaac. Joachim and Anne began to devote themselves to rigorous prayer and fasting in isolation from society. They regarded their inability to conceive a child as a surpassing misfortune and a sign of shame among the tribes of Israel. At the end of their days, God granted their heart's desire. Dear friends, Joachim and Anne isolated themselves from evil things of the society to give time to the Lord to find His goodness in prayer and fasting. kept trusting the Lord, and Lord listened to their prayers. In our lives too, we are inspired by the lives of Saints Joachim and Anne to give our time to the Lord, listen to Him, and not the voices of the world, to find the goodness, the wheat in oneself and in others. Amen.